Men, what I'm about to tell you might shatter everything you thought you knew about female psychology. As a woman, I know from the inside the exact tricks that wives use to hide their affairs. This isn't theory from books. These are real techniques that work so well. Most men never even suspect them. Before we dive into these painful but necessary truths, please hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. And write in the comments what city you're watching from. It's curious to see how far our audience is reaching. Trust me, after this video, you'll never look at female behavior the same way again. Now, let's get into the 4 psychological tricks that cheating wives use and how you can spot them before it's too late. Trick number 1, girls' nights and working late. Here's what most men don't understand. Women are absolute geniuses at creating flawless excuses. We don't just lie randomly. We craft socially acceptable alibis that are almost impossible to question without looking controlling or paranoid. This trick is called socially acceptable alibis, and it's devastatingly effective. A cheating wife will suddenly develop a social life or work schedule that conveniently requires her to be away from home at specific times. The beauty of this method is that these activities sound completely normal, even admirable. She'll start having girls' nights out every Thursday. She'll need to work late on projects that conveniently require weekend meetings. She'll join a book club that meets during evening hours. She might suddenly become passionate about yoga classes or pottery workshops that happen to run right during prime cheating hours. Why does this work so perfectly? Because men have been conditioned to support their wives' independence and personal growth. When she says she's going to a girls' night, you think, good for her, she needs time with friends. When she mentions working late, you think, she's so dedicated to her career. You don't want to be the controlling husband who questions every outing. But here's the psychological manipulation at play. These excuses are specifically chosen because they're difficult to verify and come with built-in shame if you try to check. How do you verify a girl's night without calling her friends and looking insecure? How do you question work commitments without seeming unsupportive of her career? The red flags to watch for: sudden increases in these activities, vague details when you ask about them, defensive reactions when you show interest, and most importantly, the timing. If these new commitments always happen to coincide with when she's most distant from you emotionally, that's not a coincidence. Look, I've had friends who used the exact same yoga class excuse for 6 months to meet their affair partners. Their husbands never questioned it because they thought they were being supportive of their wives' wellness journey. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. What I'm about to tell you next is even more devious. Trick number 2, digital disguise. You know what's truly terrifying? You could be holding her phone right now and see absolutely nothing suspicious. Modern cheating wives have turned digital deception into an art form, and most men have no idea how sophisticated these methods have become. This technique is called digital disguise, and it's probably the most psychologically manipulative trick in the book. A cheating wife doesn't just hide her affair, she creates an entire fake digital reality that makes her infidelity invisible. Here's how it works. She saves her lover's contact under a female name. Jessica, personal trainer, is actually Mark from accounting. Lisa, yoga instructor, is actually her college boyfriend she reconnected with on social media. The genius of this system is that when Jessica texts, you see a woman's name and assume it's harmless girl talk, but it gets more sophisticated. Some women create entirely separate messaging apps or use work-related platforms like Slack or Teams to communicate with their affair partners. Others use social media platforms you'd never think to check, like LinkedIn or even fitness apps with messaging features. The psychological reasoning behind this is fascinating and disturbing. Women are naturally more detail-oriented than men when it comes to planning and deception. We think 3 steps ahead. We don't just plan the affair. We plan how to make it completely undetectable. I know women who have maintained fake conversations with girlfriends for months, creating elaborate backstories about these fictional friends just to maintain their cover. They'll tell you all about Sarah's relationship drama or Michelle's work problems, when in reality, they're describing their affair partner or creating fictional scenarios to explain their own behavior changes. Real examples that would shock you. Contacts saved as Dr. Johnson's office that are actually love interests, group chats titled Book Club Ladies, where the affair planning happens, or using emojis and code words that look innocent but have specific meanings. How to spot this? Watch for nervousness when she receives texts from female friends, quick deletion of notifications, or if she suddenly becomes protective of what she claims are boring work conversations. Also notice if she starts mentioning new female friends you never meet or hear details about. If you think that's everything, you're seriously mistaken. The next trick is even more calculated. Trick number 3, creating a new reality. Attention. If your wife has suddenly become interested in self-improvement, be very careful. This might be the most insidious trick of all, because it hijacks your natural desire to support her growth and uses it as a weapon against you. This technique is called lifestyle alibi creation, and it's psychological manipulation at its finest. Instead of making excuses for individual events, a cheating wife creates entirely new routines and interests that provide consistent opportunities to meet her affair partner. Here's the psychology. Women understand that men are programmed to support their partner's self-improvement efforts. When she tells you she's taking up running, joining a gym, learning a new language, or pursuing a hobby, your instinct is to encourage her. You think, I'm proud of her for bettering herself. But here's what's really happening. She's creating a legitimate-sounding schedule that gives her regular, predictable times to be away from home and unavailable for contact. The Tuesday and Thursday gym sessions become standing dates with her lover. The weekend hiking group becomes cover for hotel meetings. The most common examples, suddenly joining expensive gym memberships when she's never shown interest in fitness, taking evening classes that conveniently don't have any homework or visible progress, starting running groups that meet at odd hours, or developing passionate interests in activities that require specialized equipment or locations you can't easily access. Why this works so devastatingly well? It transforms cheating time into something you actually celebrate and support. You're literally paying for her gym membership that she uses to meet another man. You're encouraging her personal growth that's actually personal betrayal. The red flags are subtle but telling. Sudden dramatic changes in interests, especially if they involve activities that naturally exclude you. No visible progress or evidence of the supposed activity. Secrecy about specific details, like exact locations or fellow participants. And most importantly, if these new interests consume time that used to be your couple time. I've seen women maintain elaborate lies about training for marathons while actually spending that time in hotel rooms. Their husbands bought them expensive running gear and cheered them on, never realizing they were funding an affair. But the most sinister trick I've saved for last. This one is used by 95% of cheating wives. Trick number 4, the fortress in her pocket. Has her phone become more precious to her than her own life? Here's why, and it's worse than you think. This final trick is called digital fortress maintenance, and it's the cornerstone of modern infidelity. A cheating wife's phone becomes the control center of her double life, and she'll protect it like nuclear codes. Here's the psychology. Unlike men, who often get careless with their affairs, women understand that their phone contains the complete evidence of their betrayal. Every text, call log, photo, and app holds potential exposure. So they don't just hide things, they create an impenetrable security system. The techniques are frighteningly sophisticated. Multiple passwords on different apps, auto-delete settings for messages, using airplane mode to read messages without sending read receipts, scheduling messages to send at specific times to create false timelines, and even carrying 2 phones or using work devices for personal affairs. But here's the behavioral aspect that gives it away. Her relationship with her phone completely changes. She starts sleeping with it under her pillow instead of on the nightstand. She takes it to the bathroom, even for quick trips. She develops an almost panic response if you ask to use it, even for innocent reasons like checking the weather. The most telling sign, she creates fake boundaries around privacy that never existed before. Suddenly, she needs personal space and individual privacy regarding her phone. She'll say things like, "Everyone deserves some privacy," or "It's healthy for couples to have boundaries," using relationship therapy language to justify secretive behavior. Watch for these specific behaviors: face-down phone placement everywhere, immediate response to notifications, because affairs require constant communication, and most importantly, the anxiety response. If asking to borrow her phone for something innocent creates visible stress or elaborate explanations about why you can't, you have your answer. I know women who have trained themselves to wake up if someone touches their phone while they sleep. The level of vigilance required to maintain an affair makes the phone an extension of their nervous system. Here's what really happens. She's not just hiding an affair, she's managing an entire parallel relationship that requires constant communication, coordination, and emotional investment. Her phone becomes the gateway to her real emotional life, while you get whatever's left over. So there you have it, the 4 main tricks: socially acceptable alibis, digital disguise of communications, creating new lifestyle habits for meeting opportunities, and turning the phone into an impenetrable fortress. Remember, men, knowing these techniques shouldn't turn you into a paranoid partner. But if you recognize multiple signs happening simultaneously, trust your instincts. Your gut feeling exists for a reason. Here's what hurts the most. These aren't just lies. They're psychological campaigns designed to make you complicit in your own deception. She doesn't just hide the affair, she makes you celebrate the very things that enable it. But knowledge is power. Understanding these tactics protects you from gaslighting and self-doubt. When you know what manipulation looks like, you can't be manipulated. Men, I know this information is painful, but it's better to know the truth than live in ignorance. Write in the comments which trick seemed most familiar to you. Use just the number if it's too painful to elaborate. And remember, you deserve honest relationships. If this video opened your eyes, please share it with other men who might need this information. They deserve to know what they're really dealing with. The truth isn't always kind, but it's always necessary. Hit that subscribe button if you want more honest conversations about female psychology that no one else will have. And let me know your city in the comments. I want to see how global this problem really is. Until next time, trust your instincts and never apologize for protecting your peace of mind. You're worth more than being someone's backup plan while they explore other options. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.